Dude, I'm so excited to try out this mod. This is actually such a cool idea. I think it's going to be pretty light, because I think modding is just easy, but this shouldn't be too bad. This is RL Craft. This is Better Than Wolves Nightmare Mode, the mod that is so difficult that it makes every other mod look like it deserves to be in a Preston Plays video. Oh, but Goose, what makes it so difficult, you might ask? Well, you see that diamond armor just sitting there? Yep, that's gone. You see that overpowered loot just sitting in a chest? Yep, that's gone. You see those overpowered structures? Yep, those are gone. You see the crafting table recipe? Yep, that's gone. You see the ability to place blocks in midair? Yep, that's gone. Wait, what? What I'm trying to say is this mod is so difficult that it required an hour-long Discord call with one of the best Better Than Wolves Nightmare Mode players to get it installed. Oh my gosh, it's finally launched. Finally, we can actually start playing this. Or I would do that if this mod wasn't so big that I spent 6 hours testing it, created a 12-page Google Doc, and read through nearly the entire Wikipedia created for it. The result of that, well... So in a standard Minecraft world, here's how you get a crafting table. Now here's how you get that in Nightmare Mode. Spawn into the world at midnight. Avoid all mobs while mining dirt, except that's not how dirt works anymore because you have to make this stone, then you mine it, and you craft more stone. Since that is sharp stone, I am so glad around you break them to make skybase at night, and then you make iron scraps and use furnaces. Repeat this process multiple times until you finally get this process. And once you get 4 iron nuggets, then you craft them into a chisel, and finally mine a crafting table. Simple. And it only took 2.5 hours for a crafting table. And if you didn't get that, I don't blame you. So instead, I'm just going to introduce you to the one and only run, and just pause like a middle school English teacher to explain when something is happening. Alright, let's do this. Pause. I'm kidding. But we do spawn at midnight, and mobs are going to spawn in exactly 1 minute. So the best move is to go where mobs don't spawn. The middle of the water. And while I'm there, I should probably start mining for basic material. Pause. Okay, this one's for real. When you mine things with the improper tool, they don't drop blocks. In this case, you get dirt, which you can turn into dirt slabs, which you can turn into dirt blocks. You also get clay for a furnace, which is one of the big accomplishments for beginning players, and the first step towards a good seed. Anyways, after gathering a few items, my 1 minute timer of spawn protection had ended, which means every mob within 3 county lines wants my personal information. Oh look, it's finally becoming day. Hey, want to see a cool trick on how to skip a solid 5 minutes of grinding and hunger loss? Watch. Yup, by having a creeper blow up on a stone patch, I get a ton of loose rock, which is going to save me a bit of time. But why? Well, every Minecraft day where the sun is up is approximately 10 minutes, which means I have 10 minutes to make a stone axe. So first things first, you mine a tree with a sharp stone to get sticks. Once you have those, you go around and hunt for spider webs. Acquiring those will result in you having stone, sticks, and string to make one axe. This is great because every mob will do their best to kill you, and logs are one of the few blocks that they don't spawn on. So as long as you build up in the sky, you don't have to worry about anything attacking you. Yet. And just like that, you've survived day 1. Wait, how many days did this mod take? Oh no. Hey, while I go through an existential crisis, I have an incredible announcement to make. That's right, baby, I just got monetized. Genuinely, this is something I never thought would happen, and I am so blessed by you guys. To thank you all, I have made a public Discord that you can join. The link is in the description. I'll definitely be doing a lot of cool events and things, so I recommend you join. I even got to tell my parents about it, and you want to know the response? Oh, that's so great. Good for you. You're never going to make this into a career. So, I want to set a new goal. I want to make this my career, but I can't do that without you guys. I know it may seem like only one sub is minuscule, but I see each one. I read each comment you send, whether good or bad. And the fact so many of you support me genuinely means the world. So thank you for that. And of course, as always, please subscribe to help me, to prove my parents wrong. Now, a big thing to worry about in Nightmare Mode is your hunger, because everything drains this. And getting food is tough. Luckily, I accidentally found a solution. See, I was cooking my food, and then I realized, hey, did this mod remove me surviving a fall into 1 block of water? So I grabbed my pork, ate it, and then quit. made a new creative world, tested my jump, logged back into the world, and hey, why is this pork still here? Yeah, so food just isn't a worry anymore. That's awesome. The next big goal in this mod is getting a furnace. It's normally the benchmark for having a good run, as once you have that, you can smelt most items and acquire some actual gear. But to do that, you need to mine 16 clay. Yes, this does take a while to mine. Lay it out to dry, and after 2 to 3 business days, bam, you have a furnace. Also, did you see that skeleton shooting at me? Well, don't worry, it'll just burn when it's daytime. Oh, awesome. You've already seen that they've changed the mobs a bit, but what has this add-on fully changed? Well, zombies can now spawn more frequently with tools and will put you in their combo video if you try to fight them. They can also just tunnel through the earth, which is great. They also die and turn into regular or wither skeletons when they burn. Speaking of skeletons, they don't burn. Do this, and they actively try to become a spider jockey, which, speaking of spiders, can shoot a web at you that gives you mining fatigue and slowness, along with poisoning you when they hit you. Creepers can jump at you, along with having a fire variant. They sometimes spawn charged and guaranteedly spawn charged late game, and there are no shields to counter them. There are also a ton of other add-on mobs or really unfairly enhanced ones, but I'll get to those when we encounter them. Oh, and squids can teleport you through blocks while caving or on the surface. Okay, so now that you have a furnace, then what? Well, you go mining. The goal with mining is to get 4 iron nuggets to make a crafting table, which is easier said than done, as I need to mine the ore with a rock to make dust. Combining 2 dust makes a chunk, and when you smelt that chunk, you get a nugget. Now do that 3 more times, and now you have yourself a chisel. Also, although this looks like I'm playing on a pretty recent version, this is 1.6. The modders were just really nice and changed a lot of the textures to newer versions to make it more welcoming to newer players. Anyways, mining is going to take a while without a pickaxe. Time jump, it's day 8 and I just got a chisel. Also, my bitrate's destroyed because it's raining. A nice advantage of this mod is that you turn invisible when you sleep, so getting a bed is crucial. That doesn't look like wool. Yeah, so apparently, this is the recipe. For 1 piece of wool. Also, are those vertical slabs? What? Luckily, the people who developed this mod must have been living with their grandparents at this point in time because they added knitting. So I have something to do when it's thundering now. By the time the thunder ran out, I made a bedroll, which is the same thing as a bed, except you can't take naps in the middle of the day. I beg to differ, but okay. But finally, on day 9, after 2.5 hours of playing this mod, crafting table. Yay! After all that work, I have made 1 stone pickaxe. Okay, so now we finally have a crafting table. Now what? I don't know, beats me. The only reason I've gotten this far is because I've been watching 6-hour live streams to understand what to do next. Sadly, I've just surpassed just about everybody else in this mod, so I have no idea what I'm supposed to do now. Luckily, I have a solution. The only reason I played this mod is because you guys recommended it. If you have any challenge or mod suggestions, feel free to post it in my Discord. Specifically, this little rat, or melon I guess, recommended it. And so as punishment, I'm having to answer literally any question I asked at any time of the day. So now I know that it's time to get a cauldron. Also, how much iron does that I'm going to be here all year, aren't I? Doing some basic math, I realized that I'm going to need 84 nuggets. Hey there, Editor Goose here. I don't know how I managed to get this number. Maybe it was because I wrote this script at 2 in the morning. But it does not take 84 nuggets to make a cauldron. It takes 70 nuggets. I have no idea how I managed to get cauldron with 84 nuggets, but it is only 70 nuggets to make one. I don't know why some basic math made me mess up this hard, but apparently I just must have been very tired or something. Also, I'm sick right now, and so if I sound dead inside, that's not because I'm sick, it's because I have to edit this, but I am still sick, so that's why my voice sounds weird, which is an absurd amount. Luckily, it's not going to take as long because my stone pickaxe mines the ore completely, or nearly really, but it's going to take a while still. So on day 9, I got to work, mining wood. Look, I want a bigger base that looks nicer, but on day 10, I got to work, collecting sugar cane to make wicker baskets, which are chests so you can get vertical slabs, because of course that's how you craft chests. Okay, well how about day 11? Did I go mining? No, of course, I chopped down more trees. Day 12, I sort of went mining. Wait, is that? Yes, I am now 1/28 of the way there. Also, look at those clay bricks. At this rate, I'm going to have a super smelter before I get an iron pickaxe. On day 13, I explored below my base to find a skeleton spawner, which explains why I was constantly getting jumped by them. And I was introduced to Nightmare Mode's funniest game mechanic, Bloom. It's just the nighttime, but darker. And it kills you. Oh, you can't see through it and it flies back fast. Day 14, I mined wood. Yep. Day 15, I actually locked in and got myself a full iron ingot via mining. Also, wow, look at that, a super smelter. Day 16, I mined a bit more and explored a ravine near my base, something that would become crucial to a very late part of this game. Day 17, I just sat and smelted. The next few days mostly consisted of mining, but day 20 was when things really started to work out. I explored the ravine completely, collected a ton of materials, followed by day 21 when I just mined more logs. Followed by day 22 in which I finally got an iron pickaxe and explored a deeper caving system, and oh my goodness, this was broken. I mean, sure, there were some close calls, but this day alone gave me enough iron to make a bucket. Day 23, 24, and 25, I didn't really do that much. I got a few pieces of iron which brought me to 19 nuggets, but I spent a lot of the time expanding the base and doing quality of life tasks that would help me in the future. However, day 26 is where the real fun began, because I did my first real caving expedition, and honestly, it went really well. I played this game really calm, cool, and collected. There really weren't as many close calls as I thought there would be, and it led to me leaving that cave with 50 iron, which is all thanks to my newly acquired iron pickaxe, which comes with a built-in fortune mechanic. While letting my iron smelt, I continued to expand the base, and I think it's already really impressive how far my skills have come. I've become way better at the game, and I think it really shows. By the way, I think it's a good time to mention that regeneration doesn't work how it normally does. It's pretty much UHC. But every 30 seconds you get half a heart back. Oh, and just like real life, when you take damage, it cripples you. But unlike real life, it's not permanent. Also, I'm not that bad. For all the shortcomings you might think I have, I did 1v1 an Enderman. Holy crap, I killed it. There's no way I just did that. Now we're taking a screenshot of this. But finally, after so much mining, on day 30, I crafted a cauldron, which was absolutely massive because I could now make leather armor and belts, which would assist me in the industrial age that was soon to come. Now that I've gotten a ton of iron and some armor, now what? Well, time to go to the desert temple near my base, which, fun fact, houses the enchantment table, which is the only way to get it because it's just not craftable. Anyways, I went to explore the bottom of it for loot. Sadly, it was completely exploded. However, it did have a very deep cave system, which would be perfect for diamond mining. Now, I'm not going to say this trip went completely smoothly. Holy crap, that's diamonds. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Leave. Get out. I did not just pull that off. What I will say is that I did leave with 3 diamonds, which I see as an absolute win, because I can turn right back around and head back to hunt for a few more diamonds, also grab the enchantment table, and oh hey, is that a village? All villagers that spawn in this mod start at zombified, which means you have to either kill or cure. Also, getting the bookshelves from here meant I could finally enchant my gear, which is super useful, but it still wasn't enough for the level 15 cap the table had until you enter the nether. So what did I do? Ignore it and farm. This might seem trivial to do, but what I'm grinding is actually the most crucial thing in the game. It can be crafted into windmills, which provide mechanical power to everything, and it is 100% required to beat the game. But that's going to take a while, so for now, I worked on getting full leather armor, which doesn't give any hunger loss when worn, but it's, well, not that great. Oh, and I traveled to another village to get the other half of the books, which I needed for a level 15 setup. Hey, editor's note, you can actually craft them, but I didn't know it at the time, so oh well. Luckily, after a bit more time, I finally got the few shelves placed, and holy crap, that's an insane enchant considering I can't get fortune. Ooh, that's a diamond pick and a half. Ooh, baby. With a new set of gear and an insane diamond pickaxe, I think this merits a pretty big caving expedition. With a nice deep hole right near my base, I think it's a prime spot to start hunting for some diamond gear. And I'm just going to let this expedition play out. Yeah, he'll fall to his death. Nice, creeper oysters. Of course, I should have known skeletons don't burn lava. Why would they burn in lava? There's no way. Alright, cool. We just made it out of the hardest possible cave. Yeah, so that mining trip was eventful. The loot game was incredible, and best of all, my crops finally grew. So what is this incredible crop that's going to help make a windmill? So, how do I explain this one? So, the item I need, which is a crucial step to beating the game, is... Well, here's the thing. I don't want YouTube to have any reason to demonetize me, so let me explain what this item is. It is a green leaf that is legalized for medicinal use in multiple states that's created a lot of controversy, one of those states being mine. It's just weeding my crops is also required for farming them, which is such a cool game mechanic. I love waking up in the morning to leave my house to do some sort of menial task that leaves me with nothing useful and is completely unpaid. Oh, yeah, and I guess the game mechanic is pretty neat. The next few days were pretty chill. It just consisted of smelting iron, farm, return to base. Smelt iron, farm, return to base. Smelt iron, farm, return to... Not even close. Finally, though, on day 58, I made myself a windmill. And I have no idea how to use it. Yo, could you teach me redstone?
Uh,
To explain in basic terms, the axles are redstone and the gearboxes are redstone repeaters. You can only have 3 axles before you need a gearbox or the axle will break, and mechanical power in this mod is super needed. Not only does it power things like grindstones, which are needed to convert these into string, which used to take forever to collect, to grinding netherrack, and so many other useful items. Not just that though, they power hoppers, create infinite fuel, make sure whatever this is works, and operates mob farms. Oh, they also create saws, which are nice because they expand my crafting recipes. I can make chests, create vertical slabs, cut those slabs in half, and cut those slabs in half. I can make hoppers, stairs, vertical slabs, benches, vertical slabs, water wheels, Anyways, the next few days were pretty chill. All I did was just slowly expand my base and get some mechanical setups. I also added some farms to the skybase along with working on slowly getting diamond armor, which, by the way, costs an iron, a diamond, and creeper balls to craft. Fun fact, you can actually shear these creepers to get this item, which is interesting. So that was slowly getting worked on, but on day 70 I did fight some witches to get a brewing stand, and oh my gosh, witches are absolutely terrifying. They can pearl onto you and hit you with poison potions, which are even worse because your regeneration is trash, and once you get too low HP, you can't do anything. Anyways, I got a brewing stand which are uncraftable, which is why I needed to kill witches. I also made more farms for animals, so that was nice. On day 70, I finally crafted diamond armor. And yeah, this took way too many creeper kills. And now it's finally time to go to the nether, right? No, it's time to trap zombie villagers in another sky base to cure later. Now, the reason I have to do this is once I light the portal, a 3-day timer counts down before hard mode begins, which pretty much just upgrades all the mobs and makes life even worse. So, the more preparation before charged creepers become a naturally spawning mob, the better. Anyways, after trapping all the zombie villagers I need, the next few days would just consist of farming sheep for bandages all day, which, by the way, are the best way of healing before potions, and farming mobs at night to get level 15 enchants. Finally, on day 88, I got full diamond armor, and oh my gosh, does it feel good to get shot by a skeleton and not be worried about taking 4 hearts. I mean, hey, I'm practically... And now, after all of that grinding, it is finally time to enter the nether. Alrighty. Let's do this. Oh my gosh, did Elmi cook with the nether. Not only is it worse, the gas do this now. What the... Anyways, my entire start was tunneling. A lot of tunneling. Honestly, the nether was pretty chill. Since it wasn't hard mode yet, there wasn't any gloom to spawn all around the nether to kill me. There weren't that many charged creepers waltzing around. Just me and a lot of exploration. Oh hey, there's the fortress. The few things I need to do were get in, get the crucible, which is just a bigger crafting table that gets unlocked later, get some blaze rods, and get a ton of nether brick. Oh yeah, and not die to these things since they know how to tab straight.
Mob increase reach.
Anyways, I returned with all of that and mined a few more blocks and swiftly left the nether, since I wouldn't need to return for a while. Completing the nether meant a few things. 1, I could upgrade my gear to level 20 enchants. 2, I could create infinite fuel along with whatever this contraption is. And 3, I can trade with villagers. See, the way to cure villagers is by grinding netherrack, firing a clay pot, throwing it over soul sand, and splashing it on a villager. It's weird. Also, I need to do it 10 times. Now, I'm gonna be completely honest here. This is where the game slows down a ton. There might be a few death-defying stunts here and there. Don't worry, I'll get back to that in a second. But most of the time, the game is just villager trading. But why? Well, Elmi left this part of the game pretty unchanged from the original mod. To go to the end, you still need your Eyes of Ender to activate the end portal. However, the way to get those eyes is different. Yeah, you can't craft them. Instead, you have to get a maxed out librarian to get those eyes. However, to get a maxed out librarian, you need that goofy looking gold anvil called a soul forge, along with a nether star, which is still acquired by killing the wither. Oh. Uh-oh. However, to get an infused skull, because yes, that's what you need to create the wither, you need to trade a regular wither skull and 6 to 8 emeralds to get one from a priest. But to get a regular wither skeleton skull, you trade a regular skeleton skull and 6 to 8 emeralds. And to get a skeleton skull, you kill skeletons. A lot of skeletons. Also, you need to do that 4 times. But the problem is, to access those trades, you need to level up these villagers a ton. And the only way to level them up is insanely overhauled. Instead of just making, an iron farm or a string duper, villagers can only level up with trades that have a little green plus next to it. But once you do that, it changes, and sometimes that can be really easy, like a screw, and other times it isn't, like the Souls of the Condemned, which would mean, you would have to go back to the nether, and will you look at that, hard mode has begun, and the nether has gloom. Also, a bunch of really difficult mobs that make life much worse have started spawning. Anyways, once you finally manage to level up that villager to the next level, it prompts you with a required trait that's impossible to change. And these suck. It could range from, being a breeding harness, which isn't too bad, to an enchantment table, which is just a really long walk, to a brewing stand, which is uncraftable, and requires you to kill witches. Which, incidentally, takes me back to this point. See, I was killing witches per normal, till I messed up and one poisoned me. Luckily, I killed the witch, and the spider it spawned wasn't aggro since it was daytime. Uh-oh. This is where I die. On 1 heart, a spider running towards me, unable to fight or flee. This is where I die. And so I sit there, thinking of a way. Anyway, I review the footage. I have healing potions in my inventory. If I can get to them and splash myself, I could pull it off. But if not, it's game over. This is honestly poetic in some sort of way. I had played this run so recklessly and safe at the same time. Nearly every action I took was planned and practiced. And yet, the one eventuality I thought I would survive without practice, I'm about to die to. Alright, if I'm gonna die, so be it. I hit S frantically, trying to open my inventory. It's already too late. I sit there, waiting any second for that final tick, and yet, nothing happens. And that's when it hits me. I look down. The spider missed its jump. When I move backwards, it's drowning under the lily pad. I live. Now, was I supposed to die here? 100%. This was the most undeserved thing ever. I also grabbed the brewing stand since that was what I was here for. And that levels up my villager to level 3. Okay, that is actually just cooked. What? I still have a lot more trading to do. Like killing mobs for their heads, which means I get to introduce you to a few new mobs. Like the Ender Zombie, who TPs to you and doesn't take knockback. Or the Magma Cube, who hits you with a potion of slowness and then runs at you. Or how about the Fire Skeleton, who just has the Flame Enchant. A nice upside of the mob farming is the insane amount of XP I get, which means some pretty solid enchants, and so grinding continued until night 116, in which finally I got my first Wither Skeleton Skull. On night 126, my first Infused Skull. And on day 130, I finally got all 3 Infused Skulls.
And just like that, ladies and gentlemen, that is a Wither.
It was time to fight the Wither. Whoa. It is not even close to time to fight the Wither, because I have some phenomenal news for you. The Wither fight is hard, spawning things such as charged fire creepers, tap strafing blazes, and the neighbor's dog princess. This thing would cook me. Correction, it did cook me. A lot. And after an extensive amount of testing, I realized, hey, couldn't I just cheese this? Yes. In fact, this strat was so broken that it caused the developer to implement a patch that would buff the Wither if it was attempted. Luckily, that didn't happen till after I killed the Wither and showed them. So let's lay out the plan. When fighting the Wither, its first phase will always be a few blocks above you. 6 specifically, just barely out of reach. However, that means it will only be 6 blocks above you. So the trick is to get it in an enclosed room that's 6 blocks above me. However, I can't go in a cave because it has to spawn above sea level and not in the nether. So I can spawn above and jump down below into some form of cave that is filled with a mob that could destroy the Wither. Say hello to the Iron Golem. Now, the Iron Golem is completely, somehow, unchanged in this mod, costing 4 blocks of iron and a carved pumpkin to spawn. Oh, also the Souls of the Condemned, but that's fine. According to my testing, I want between 15 and 20 to guarantee not dying, which means I need 80 iron blocks or 720 ingots. Because you can't grind ingots, you can only grind nuggets is... 6,480 nuggets of iron. I need 6,480 nuggets of iron. Luckily, there is a solution for this. A mob farm. See this weird looking thing that looks like those sweatshirts that was popular in 2012? It can melt any type of armor or tool into its respective ingots and nuggets, which would save a ton of time since I can take full advantage of the increased tools and armor spawn rates. So, I made a mob farm. I mean, this farm is pretty fast, it won't take too long. Time skip, it's been 124 days and I'm ready to fight God or die trying. And even better, the Iron Golems are all here, and the plan is ready to be enacted. Real quick though, let me give you a rundown of my inventory. This is a short bow, it's just a faster, better bow. This is a notch apple that gives you a few hearts and a ton of positive effects. This is a golden apple, it gives you 10 extra hearts and can be crafted with nuggets. You know what bandages are, and those are just potions of healing. That can be stacked. So, after 269 days, it's time to fight the Wither. Oops. Holy crap. Bad. Nice jump. You alright? Yes, it's working. It's working. It's working. No way. No way it's working like this. Keep going. Go. Go, golems, go. Yes. A god does not fear death. Alright, bud. Alright, so you're just not that guy. You're not that guy. Bro, I can tab out. You're just not that guy. You're not that guy. There is no freaking way that just happened. Yeah, so after the most anticlimactic weather fight in which I nearly no-hit it, the true nightmare mode has started. Crystal zombies that... Yup.
Get out of
Along
here,
with
stupid
every
rat.
single night being a gloom night. But on the upside, I have another start, and now finally get a 4x4 crafting grid. And even better, finally get Eyes of Ender. Yay! But before I do that, there is a new material. It's called Soulforged Steel, but it's really just netherite with some extra steps. One of those steps being the only way to get it is by killing fire creepers. Luckily, the World Trade Center behind me actually is just a mob farm, and gives me way too much of those. I am just not saying all that, it's just netherite nuggets. So hopefully this grinding session isn't going to take time jump. It's been another 83 days, and it's time to go to the end. However, I did do a bit of grinding and brewing for this fight, resulting in me having insane blast pro armor, so charged creepers don't scare me, a sharp 5 sword for any on-ground mobs, and a power 5 infinity bow for the dragons. All I really need to do is hunt for the stronghold, which means I finally can throw an Eye of Ender. And hey, these have durability now. I love this change so much actually, it's one of my favorites in this entire mod pack. Anyways, the stronghold wasn't even that far away. It was in the desert biome I'd passed multiple times while exploring. And so after an interesting night, I followed the pearl and dug down until the stronghold. So I dropped down and there I was, sitting in front of the portal to not just the end of this mod pack, but a chapter. I started working on this video the day I released my negative effects video. That video, on its first day, had -1 subscribers and 12 views. And if it had bombed, who knows if I would have continued to do this. Making these videos, creating these stories, I wouldn't know. Now, however, it sits at over 200,000 views, and I sit at over 16,000 subscribers. This mod meant more than just a simple video to me. It had shown the growth and journey of not just me, but my channel. And I couldn't be any more proud and grateful for that. I had spent over 100 hours in this world, just grinding and playing to beat the game. And here I was, sitting at the portal, the final fight. It was time to finally beat Minecraft's hardest mod. Journey ends here. What a shock. Come back, you flying rat. I'm gonna give you a dinner date with God. Come on. Holy crap, that arrow did a lot of damage. Yes! 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 Okay. Don't fumble this, please. Please do not fumble this. Ladies and gentlemen, we did it. And that was it. It was over. I had just beaten Minecraft's hardest mod. Thank you so much to the entire Nightmare Mode community for making this vid possible, specifically Elmy, who created this add-on. Thank you to Caleb Rune and TDL for letting me use some of their footage to make this video possible, along with a lot of the other Nightmare Mode community for answering questions and being all around an awesome group. I've left their Discord right below my Discord in the description. If you made it to the end of the video, you should definitely be in the Discord. A massive, massive thanks to MrSirMelon, who I've asked hundreds of questions to at this point, and he's responded within 10 minutes, no matter what time or day. He's pretty much the only reason I made it through this mod, and of course, thank you for watching this video. It means a lot that you've made it to the end, and you really should check out my Discord. I'm thinking of doing a contest of sorts when I hit a milestone, so I would love to see some competition. Thank you all so much for watching this video.